What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. It's team selection time for Game Week 38 plus. As always, going to go through how I did in Game Week 37. Look ahead to Game Week 38 as well. Transfers and captaincy. I'm going to do things slightly different. Usually I do kind of defenders, then midfielders, then forwards. I'm going to bring it all up at once, talk through it all, and then we're going to do some kind of live-ish, at least on the video live, tinkering, so you can kind of see my thought process for what to do this week. I've got 2 free transfers. Obviously I have to use them. I'm not going to be rolling them again. But we have made it. We're into Game Week 38. 38 team selection videos for the season. Thanks very much for watching. I'm ready for this final deadline now. I've been to the gym this morning. I've got the same shirt on that I wore in Game Week 1, or at least the Game Week 1 team selection video. I've had a haircut. I've had a shave. I am ready for this final week. Even though it hasn't gone that great in Game Week 37, which we'll talk about in a second, I'm still ready. I'm looking forward to the end of the season and then getting straight back into it next year. Without further ado, though, I'm going to talk about today's sponsor on this video, and then we're going to jump into the Game Week 37 stuff. So today's video is once again sponsored by OneFootball. Thanks very much for them reaching out and sponsoring the channel again. It's really helped me out. It's going to let me upgrade some stuff behind the scenes, which I'm really grateful for. It's also a really good app. If you're a football fan, an FPL fan, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching this, and it gives you all your stats, your team news, your push notifications on the weekend as well to get those goal scorers in. So have it ready and loaded for Sunday, because there is going to be a lot of goals flying in, and hopefully the ones in your FPL team, that's the ones you're going to get notifications for. So make sure to check it out if you haven't already. Link in the description below, completely free, Android and iOS. Go and check it out now and see what you think. Okay, so Game Week 37 plus time first. And I will apologise really quickly for any drilling or hammering that you can hear. A bit like what I said on the free hit video earlier in the week. I've literally waited 20 or 30 minutes to record this video and it isn't going anywhere. So I've just got to record it and hope for the best. Hopefully it doesn't come out too badly on the final recording. Game Week 37 plus, 54 points. Not bad, but also not great compared to what everyone else did. It was a red arrow. I went from about 148,000 down to 178,000 for the 30k drop. I'm now 32 points off the top 100k. And obviously at the start of the season, top 100k wouldn't have been where I was trying to get to. But given how the season's gone, that's kind of where I wanted to finish. And it looks pretty unlikely now. I could just go for it and go completely different, but some of me just says just salvage this rank as much as possible. If I go for it and it doesn't work out and then I'm back into the 200Ks, I think I'll think that's a lot worse than staying with a 1 in front of my final rank. So we'll see how it goes. I'll talk about my transfers in a minute. But a frustrating week, to be honest, for many reasons. So McCarthy, I finally played him. He got some points. I finally got some points from a goalkeeper since restart. And then Foster goes and saves a penalty and outscores him by 2 points. I know it's just 2 points. But given that Pope's outscored Foster every time I've played him, and now even when I play my other keeper, Foster then decides to turn it around and save a penalty against Man City, which Sterling then got the rebound anyway. That was such a frustrating moment. I know I would have picked McCarthy every single time, but that doesn't matter. That was so annoying. Other things that were frustrating. Danny Ings. Oh, great. He's now on penalties trying to get that golden boot. He misses. He got 4 points. That should have been 13. Had that penalty gone in, it would have probably finished 2 or 3-0 if that. He would have got 2. He would have got 3 bonus points. So he would have definitely got 13 points, unless you know Southampton completely went on to dominate. But unlikely. So that's a 9-point swing. I take out Antonio because he's playing Man United. I don't expect West Ham to score many goals. If I kept him, I would have benched him anyway. I talked through my decisions for that last week. And he goes and takes a penalty. His first ever penalty in 388 appearances. Mark Noble is about as kind of dedicated a penalty taker at a club as you can get. And then Antonio steps up because apparently he's got a 10-goal bonus this year if he hits 10 goals. So not that annoying because Son got 6 points, but Antonio got 2 bonus as well. So I think he finished on 9 points. So he outscored Son. It was a free transfer, so it doesn't hugely matter. But again, super frustrating. Oh, look, I've got Kevin De Bruyne. Man City have won a penalty. Who steps up? Sterling. Because he's trying to chase the golden boot. So anyone next season that tells me the golden boot doesn't matter, absolute rubbish. Ings takes a penalty, it doesn't work out. De Bruyne doesn't take a penalty, it works out for Sterling owners. Just hugely frustrating. And then Antonio steps up as well out of absolutely nowhere. And I think what frustrated me more is the decision to not play Antonio against Man United was absolutely correct because he didn't get any other attacking returns. So for him to come away with 9 points because he took a penalty, just anyone that says you shouldn't have taken Antonio out, absolute rubbish. He didn't get any other points apart from that. And that is so frustrating. Elsewhere, Trent, I mean, he's been due a haul. It's come even without a clean. I mean, he concedes 3 goals as a defender and still gets 13 points. Ridiculous. Man United looking too tired. Solskjaer made 2 subs. 2 subs when he's run that team into the ground. Even at 1-1, we needed some fresh legs in midfield. McTominay, Fred should have come on. Fernandes looks knackered. Martial doesn't look as bad, but he's not really getting the service the last couple of games. And we're looking poor at the moment. So those on free hit, I can see why you'd maybe go without maybe one max. And then, look, you play the Pep Roulette and sometimes it doesn't work out. Mahrez, 1 point off the bench. Hopefully he starts in game week 38. Jesus was really poor. Different to the Southampton game. The Southampton game, I thought he looked like he could score. Watford game didn't happen. He was only just offside, to be fair, for his goal. But actually, no, I think he was quite far offside. But either way, it's offside, so it doesn't matter. So hugely frustrating. Sterling was the one to own. Captain only got 5 points up to 10. So 54 points. Big drop. 100k outside. It's almost like season over at this point. But we are still going to try and get as many points as possible in Game Week 38. Let's take a look at it. So here we are then. This is the Game Week 38 plus team. My final team. 2 free transfers, like I've already mentioned. 104.6 million squad value. So I guess one of the kind of things when I did Antonio to Son last week was I did lock all my money into the team. So I have to kind of take a player out, obviously, if I want to fund a bigger move because I've only got 0.1 million in the bank. So this is what it's looking like. And to be honest, every time a game week deadline goes past and FPL comes back up, straight away I look at my team for the next week. I change captaincies around. I change bench order maybe for the defenders. And when I saw this team for this week, for Game Week 38 plus, I thought it looked pretty good. I thought I don't really need a free hit. But now, I'm a little bit worried going into this final week when so many people have their free hit. And there's a good few players here now that I've got slight concerns about. So like I said, I'm going to go through the whole team, then talk about my transfers and do a bit of live tinkering to show you what my current thinking is. So let's do the ones that I'm fine with. McCarthy and Ings, absolutely fine with playing them this week. I think it's Sheffield United at home. Obviously, it's a pretty good fixture from a defensive point of view for the goalie. I'm definitely not playing Foster against Arsenal. And then Ings as well. He should be able to get a goal, even though it's Sheffield United. I think last day of the season, he's still going for that golden boot. I'm pretty happy with him. The Man City players. Now, Sterling is still a big consideration, but ultimately, if these 3 Man City players start, I'm probably fine with them. Captaincy on Mahrez, I don't know who it's going to be on. It's probably going to be on whoever my transfer in is, which will be a Liverpool mid or Sterling. It'll probably go to them. But if I did want to be different, and I know 100% that Mahrez is starting, his record when he starts is pretty good this season. He's got a lot of points. I know he's got a few one-pointers recently, but obviously that's been off the bench. So Mahrez captain is not the worst pick, I don't think, if you're really trying to chase down a big lead and you're happy to do that. The rest of the players now, not so sure. Trent stays. I think he got a haul last week. There's no reason why he can't do that against Newcastle as well. I don't really want to use him as a way to fund another transfer elsewhere. My defence, Egan is playing Southampton. So obviously that's Egan versus Ings. I don't really want to play him. Charlie Taylor's injured. Even if he was fit, I don't know if they're going to risk him. Not much to play for. Peters can play fine left back as well. So I don't think there's any need to rush Taylor back. So that's really frustrating because they got Brighton at home. And I'm probably not going to be able to play him. So my fit defenders really are Maguire, Saiss and Trent. Trent I'm fine with. Saiss against Chelsea. Look, I don't think Chelsea will score as many goals as they did against Liverpool against Wolves. I think defensive-wise, Wolves are probably going to be better. In a normal day, yes, of course, Liverpool would be too. But they're just not. They're not keeping clean sheets at the moment at all. So I think Saiss is fine. He could get a clean sheet. But against Chelsea, I do expect Chelsea to score. I don't necessarily expect them to score 3. So I'm a bit worried about him. And Harry Maguire, look, some people are saying, why is he still in your team? He hasn't been a priority to get rid of. He's still had good fixtures. Crystal Palace, Southampton, West Ham. Only 1 clean sheet again last night. A penalty. Paul Pogba puts his hands up. Like, if it's a different player, they just head that away or just take it in the face. There's no penalty. West Ham don't score, and that's a clean sheet. And then suddenly it's 2 clean sheets out of the last 3. But yeah, for Leicester away, I'm a little bit worried. I think Man United's defence has looked susceptible at times over the last few games. And Jamie Vardy's there to cause us problems. So I'm not really massively keen on keeping Maguire necessarily for the final week. If he scores a header from a corner or a free kick, that will absolutely kill me. But it's a risk I have to take, I guess. And it's not really probably a massive risk, to be fair. Then Fernandes and Martial, we look tired. I think I said that in the first bit for Game Week 37. We look really tired. I'm not too concerned about having both of these players going into the Leicester game. Leicester did concede 3 to Spurs, but you'd hope, at least from Rodgers and Leicester fans' point of view, that they would put that right for the final game. They changed up the formation a little bit in the second half. I think all 3 goals were in the first half, so they only conceded 1 max in the second half against Spurs when they changed it around. And Son, look, I've got him in. I could use him to get some cash out of my midfield to place it elsewhere. Because he's such a big differential, and Crystal Palace is a pretty good game from an attacking point of view right now, I actually kind of want to keep him. I know that Kane is the one that everyone's looking for on a free hit, but as I've already got Son, I'm more than happy with that. And then quickly, just to touch on the Man City players a little bit, Jesus, look, he didn't look great in the last game, but Norwich at home, he's going to get chances again. I have to keep him if he's going to start. If he doesn't start, then that's a different story. I may look to get rid of him. So ultimately, before I start tinkering with the team and show you what kind of transfers I'm looking at doing, I'm pretty happy with most of the players, but not all of them. I think the Man United ones, they're probably okay to keep. If I was on a free hit, I certainly wouldn't have 3. Not happy with playing Sice against Chelsea. Otherwise, the rest of them, I think they're looking pretty good. But let's do some tinkering. I'll quickly talk through my transfer plans. Okay, so here we go. I don't usually do this, but I think it's handy to see how much money and stuff I've got to spend. Because a lot of the times I put out my team and say, you know, how would you fund this? And then people don't take into account what players actually cost and what I can sell them for. So it's probably easy just to see this firsthand. So let's just get straight down to it. I've got 2 free transfers. There's 1 of 3 players coming in this week. It's Sterling, it's Salah, or it's Mane. Now, obviously, Sterling is flavour of the week for good reason. His goal record since restart has been ridiculous. He's got Norwich at home. It's ridiculous. We know he wants to go for the golden boot. He's going to be shooting on sight. He looks a great option, but obviously everyone else is going to be bringing him in as well. So I've talked a lot about Salah and Mane being slight differentials. Maybe not Salah as much, but Mane definitely. So there are options too. So if I actually go down to Liverpool, you should be able to see all this on screen, and go to transfers out this round, so up for Gameweek 38. Salah's been transferred out by 40,000, and Mane's still being transferred out by 18,000. He's already a bit of a differential. And obviously, where people are putting their money is in Raheem Sterling, who has been transferred out, weirdly, by 8,000 people, but transferred in 74,000 people. Now, if you think about how many people are actually active, that's probably a lot of people in the top 10k, top 100k. So it worries me a little bit that everyone's going for him, and he's not really, I mean, he's definitely not a differential at this point. Everyone's going to have him, especially on free hit. Like, everyone who's free hitting is going to have Sterling, and rightly so. He looks like a great option. So for me, there's 2 things I can do. If I want to go for Salah or Mane, let's say it's Mane, for example, just because he's less owned. If I go for a Liverpool mid, I might just go for Mane just because he's less owned, right? If I decide to go that way. So I've got to make up 1.5 million. So straight away, I've taken out a Man City player in Kevin De Bruyne. Now, is he the best one to take out? Not necessarily. He's going for the assist record. But from a goal point of view, I'm not expecting too much from him, especially if he gives up the next penalty again. Now, I don't know what's going to happen there. Pep might not have been too happy about that. But I think he'd be pretty happy with Sterling. The fact that he scored the rebound is probably fine. So maybe he's not on penalties. And from a goal threat from open play point of view, De Bruyne is not really there at the moment. So if I get rid of him, then I could do Son to David Silva. I still have my 3-man City then, but I have Mane instead of Sterling. Now everyone's going to look at my team and say, you haven't got Sterling. And that's fine. Do I think he's going to massively outscore Mane and Salah? I'm not so sure. The only thing that worries me about Liverpool is I think they have been unlucky not to score more goals in the last few games. But are they going to have another, some of the players at least, going to have another hangover after getting the trophy yesterday? So that is playing on my mind a little bit. But that's probably the easiest way to fund it, 1.5 million. I could get rid of Trent, but then I got to get a 6 million defender. I don't really fancy any. Or I take a hit. The other option, which is Sterling, this is probably where I'm leaning towards right now. And I think this is where my transfer will end up going. And I'll probably captain him, to be honest. I've got to make up 1.2 million. Now, I'm not actually that keen. I'm looking this way, by the way, because that's where I've got it up on the screen. I'm not actually that keen of getting rid of Son, because like I said, he's a big differential. So I've got a few other preferred choices. So let me just quickly go through them, and this is what I'm looking at. So Maguire could go out, and I'm not against getting rid of him, honestly. And there's a few 4.1 or less million defenders to go for. So there's Lamptey for Brighton, playing Burnley away, could go for him. Or Everton are playing Bournemouth at home. They've got so many injuries. I could play Braithwaite instead for 4 million, who started the last couple of games as well. So he's an option too. So that is one option. It would be for free then. I'd have Sterling. I would keep Mahrez, Martial, Son and Fernandes. And that's probably the best way to do it. The only thing that worries me about this is I still then have to play Sice or Egan against Chelsea or Southampton. Obviously, if I play Egan against Southampton, that's against Danny Ings, who I'm hoping will score, i.e. Egan doesn't have a clean sheet. So that worries me a bit. The other option is Fernandes out for a £7.4 million midfielder. Those of you paying close attention, that could be Pulisic, that could be Antonio as well. I can't get David Silva because I still have 3 Man City players. So that's another option. And I'm not actually that worried about having to get rid of Fernandes right now. He could do well, of course. I just think the way we're playing, that game could be a cagey affair against Leicester because there's so much riding on it. I don't necessarily know if I need 2 attackers right now. And he just happens to give me the money that I would need. So I could go Pulisic or maybe Antonio, just get Antonio back. I'm not worried about doing that either. And lastly, the other option is to take a hit. So I don't have to get Lamptey or Braithwaite, and I basically get 2 Burnley defenders in for a -4. Obviously, Foster could be taken out as well. But the reason I don't like taking Foster out is because I'm just happy to play McCarthy. So, for example, Maguire and Seiss can become Bardsley and Peters, or Bardsley and Long, or Peters and Long, whatever it is. And that would give me 0.1 million. I'm captaining Sterling, so I could almost feel like I can justify bringing him in for a hit. And it would give me 2 Burnley defenders against Brighton at home. Now, we know the last game of the season usually gives a lot of goals. The last week of the season usually gives a lot of goals. So potentially there's no clean sheets in that Burnley game. So taking a hit is a bit of a silly move, maybe, especially when I can do it for free just for Lamptey. But if they do get a clean sheet, then they could repay the hit by the time bonus and stuff happens. So that's kind of, I quite like this way of doing it, to be honest, instead of doing Maguire straight down to Lamptey. So that's my decision. Do I get Liverpool mids? Do I get Sterling? I'm pretty much going to go for Sterling, I think. I know I can't get top 100k and Mane might be the best option, but if I really wanted to go for it, I could bring Sterling in and captain Mahrez. That's another way of being differential this week, which will probably play on my mind right up until Sunday. But that's what I'm thinking. I thought it'd be nice to see what my kind of, what my brain is going around and doing in terms of transfers. So I think Harry Maguire out is probably the best way to fund this, whether it's down to Lamptey for free or a hit to get in 2 Burnley defenders. I could take Fernandes out for Antonio, but I've got Maguire against Vardy, I've got Seiss versus Pulisic, and I've got Trent as well. It's not the ideal move, I don't think. And let's be honest, Leicester haven't looked great. So as bad as Man United have been, Leicester haven't looked great either. So potentially there's something there. Fernandes can easily, all he needs is a corner, it gets it onto someone's head, hopefully not Maguire's if I take him out, and a penalty, and suddenly he's racked up a double-figure haul in no time at all. So I'm not really completely put off him. But if I was on a free hit, I probably wouldn't be looking there. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. Let me know what you think. What's the best way to fund it? And remember, I've only got 0.1 million in the bank, so I can't just take out anyone I want. And obviously, I could just get Long instead of Bardsley if one of these 2 players goes up in price. So not really too concerned about that. I'll just wait until Sunday. So that's it. That's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a like. Really do appreciate it. Like I said, 38 team selection previews over this season. It's pretty huge. I don't usually miss weeks. I don't like doing that. So it's nice to be consistent. I appreciate all the views. This is the most popular video on the channel. So thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed it, give it a like. If you're new around here, there ain't too many more videos towards the end of the season, but there will still be some. Game week preview coming out tomorrow, and then the deadline stream on Sunday, and then an end of season stream on Sunday as well. And then that will be it for this season. But subscribe and hit that notification bell, because as soon as the season's back up and running next year, I'll be back with all the normal videos as well, and basically all that good stuff. If you want to check out OneFootball, the link is in the description below. If you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, there'll be a good few videos on Instagram, I would say, before the deadline. So make sure to go and follow me over there. Links in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thanks very much for watching. Appreciate all the support this year. There's still more coming, so don't run away too quickly. Game week preview tomorrow, like I said, and the deadline stream. Otherwise, I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Good luck with your transfers this week.